Okay, so just setting up the live stream, so just bear with me for 1 second. It's not saying I'm live just yet. I think I've selected public. Here we go. Yep, I'm live. Cool. I'm just going to spam it like I do. So if you're watching this on catch up, probably want to skip maybe a minute or two ahead from here. Yeah, probably going to bore you to tears. On there. I wonder if there was a way of making Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram sort of communicate with one another. So when I'm live on YouTube, it's live on those ones as well. I should look at that. Okay, so just give everyone a minute to jump in. There's a couple of people on at the minute, I can see. And then start talking your ear off for those on catch up. So yeah, I've spammed it. So the question of the hour is, can I link YouTube live to Instagram and Facebook? I'm going to actually Google that right now. YouTube live to Instagram and Facebook. Yes, you can link YouTube. No, a multi-streaming platform. Okay, whatever. We'll do that maybe in the future. Cool. So whilst everyone jumps in, I've said I was going to make this a regular thing. So every Sunday at this time, so it's 9:30 for me in Western Australia. I'm going to start going live. And that's just for you guys to come in, ask any questions, for me to give you any updates on about what I'm painting or anything that's in the works. There's a few things that are coming my way that I will happily tell you. I'll probably wait until a little bit later on in the chats. There's a few more people that's joining us because we're still only a few minutes in. So yeah, there's a few things happening. We've been sent a few things, and we can talk about any new announcements and stuff in the wargaming world. I see Battle Group have just teased Battle Group Italy, which is going to be very interesting. Looks very good. And I believe the pre-orders for the Flames of War Pacific kits are now up for purchase on the Battlefront. I think it's actually called, is it called Battle Group? Something or another, their website now. Let's have a look. Battlefront, Flames of War. Store. Yeah, it's called battlefrontgroup.com. So you can get your Pacific starter sets from there. And what else has been happening on in this week in the wargaming world? It's a good question. I've seen, what have I seen? Obviously, Warlord Games are constantly promoting new stuff. I think they teased a new faction or the new faction book. What was that for? Because that was January. Oh, I can't remember now. I have to have a look. So Warlord are always teasing new stuff. Very good on the social media front. We've got Battle Group. Oh, Chain of Command. That book is almost done. And if you watched Storm of Steel's live stream, no, it wasn't a live stream. It was a normal video. You would have seen there was one specific page in the book that was showing one of the models that you would have seen from one of my videos. So that was a a cool little thing that I've been doing with Lardy Rich. So yeah, just like the Far East British book Two Fat Lardies did, where my stuff featured in there is going to be the same for Chain of Command version 2. So yeah, that's very, very cool indeed. But if you're in the chat, I'd love to know what you guys are working on, what you're excited to see, because yeah, it's very. We got a few cool announcements that have come out, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else is going to come out perhaps in the next week or so. Hello, I love your work. Great stuff, Jet. Oh, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that. Where are you messaging from? So on the what you can see in the background today is pretty much the same as last week. We've got a lot of 20 mil British Airborne. They've grown ever so slightly. We've got some 20 mil checkpoint miniatures. Some of the characters. So we've got Frost and Walter with his umbrella. We've got a 28 mil Fallschirmjäger sprue miniature, but he's been converted to be an SS soldier. We've got some Zulus, some 28 mil Warlord Game Zulus. We've got a Battlefront Japanese infantryman. We've got some 15 mm Crusaders, which we haven't seen on the channel for a hell of a long time. And we've got a few other bits and bobs around as well. Oh, you're from Thailand. Wow, that's really cool. I didn't think my reach would go out to Thailand, but that's really awesome. I do plan to paint some ties at some point for World War II, so that would be very, very cool. So yeah. Mikey Blake, hi mate, love your painting. I literally spent the last hour watching, writing down all the paints you've used for the Empress Airborne. Ah, awesome. Thank you so much. I believe one of my videos might have the paint list on there. It is a perk for my Panzer. No, it's just a perk for anyone, any member of the channel, so YouTube and that. Hence why I don't include the paint lists in the video. But I did the exact same thing as you did when I was starting out. I used to just write Frank. Well, what was I going to say? Frank from Panzer Shaw used to write his paint lists down all the time. Because again, he didn't provide a paint list. It was up to the viewer to pick what they wanted. So I just wrote down everything. I've probably got the notes somewhere, to be honest. But yeah, that's really humbling. Thank you so much. Massimiliano. I think that's probably a terrible pronunciation. I do apologize. I am awful. Being from the Midlands in the UK, we're not good at other languages. Hi, greetings from Italy. Oh, lovely. Whereabouts in Italy are you from? I'm also going to need your guys' help. I did mention that we're going to be looking at some 40k. I was kindly given some Warhammer 40k, a lot of Warhammer 40k. It's only two nations or factions, whatever you'd call them. One is Tau, so some like alien looking creatures, and then some guys that look like Centurions but with guns and stuff. I'm gonna do the Tau, or the however you pronounce them, first, but I want ideas. I want to keep them like sort of historically themed. So if you've painted Warhammer 40k and you're watching this on catch up, or you're watching this now in the chat, please give me ideas, because I have no idea how I should paint these Tau like alien troopers in a historical theme. I've obviously got an idea. If I get a few views for the Warhammer stuff, it won't be a full-time thing, that's for sure, and it'll only be once a month. But if it becomes a little bit popular, then I might look at getting some of the more human-looking guys and maybe doing like German uniforms on those, because I think that would be pretty easy to do. But the other factions are a little bit more difficult. But yeah, they're just one-off videos because I was donated this Warhammer stuff. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna paint it. And it's a lot. I mean, it's got a rule book and all sorts of stuff. I don't play it. I don't know anything about Warhammer really. Um, but you know, I've donated it, so I've got to give it a go, right? So the stream's a little bit more quieter than normal. It's not as many of you guys on, so I'm having to talk away for those on catch up. So if I am talking absolute rubbish, please do let me know in the comments section if you want to hear something else. But I'm let's talk about. Good day, Jeremy from Canada. How are you? What part of Canada? You're on the east or west coast of Canada. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to go into what we've got coming to the channel. So um, I had Here 46 reach out to me, and they want to send me some of their miniatures. Now I believe they operate in 50 mil and 28 mil. And obviously, as the name would suggest, we're talking like 1946 onwards. So that would be like those big German cats and stuff like that. So that's going to be very interesting. I have no idea what he's going to send or what they're going to send, but I am looking forward to it. John Holland, North Carolina, East Coast, USA. Lovely, lovely part of the USA. Have I been to North Carolina? If my wife's watching this live stream, she might be able to tell me. We did drive through quite a lot of those states. North Carolina. I don't think we got to North. I think we got to South Carolina. Um, yeah, I don't think we got as far north, but I could be completely wrong. Toronto. Yes, I've been to Toronto, close to the east. Yep, and we drove. No, we got a trip down to Niagara on the Lake, which was lovely as well. Yeah, do like Toronto. Um, Lovely city. We stayed at the Blue Jays Stadium, if I'm not mistaken. But we were stupid enough to not stay and watch a game because we don't really follow baseball. But yeah, I think we went up the Needle. I think Toronto's got that Space Needle. As well, talking about other things that are coming, we actually have a 28 mil castle that's arrived. Now, the name of the company has left my memory just for a second, and hopefully it will come back to me, and I'll let you guys know. But a 28 mil castle, and it's modular, which is really cool. So you can have like a square tower, or you can have a circular tower, and you can just switch and change as you want. They sort of lock into place, which is really cool. Yeah, the CN tower. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, that was a great trip. See, I know you guys have just gone through an election in Canada. We've just gone through one here in Australia as well. So all that fun stuff is now over, and we can get back to some sort of normality here. And I imagine it'll be much of the same for you guys in Canada. Um, so what is upcoming on the tutorial front? We've got the 28 mil Vallejo SS painting tutorial. Now I'm delaying the release of that because I want to cover a few bases. I don't want to just release Oakleaf and then release P dot. I was going to try and do Palm Tree and Swamp. I don't want to make it too big, and I'm still not happy with my Swamp and Palm Tree camo. So I'll master those a little bit better. Well, until I'm happy with them. So the Vallejo tutorial will be released soon, probably in the next fortnight. But I just need to paint the spring oak leaf variant of the camouflage, which I'll do this week. So we'll have that Vallejo one out, as well as we've got Flames of War tutorials coming out, quite a lot of them. We've got the Japanese, we've got the British tanks, and then following that, we'll have US in winter clothing for the bulge. and then Japanese tanks and British in the Far East from the earlier part of the Far East. Hussar, hello, greetings from Poland. God, we've got everyone on here today from all different parts of the world. Hello from Poland. I would ask you what part of Poland, but I don't really know Poland too well, other than obviously Warsaw, and it's a country I haven't been to, but I would love to go to. Um, Again, another lovely part of the world. So, what is everyone working on? What are we working on, and what are we looking forward to seeing? Because I was just talking about there's been some new releases that have been teased. So, like Chain of Command version 2. Um, Warlord Games have got quite a few stuff going out. We've got the Flames of War Pacific range coming out. And I think Piers Brand teased some new AB figures on the World War II range that are potentially in the making. He can't give us any details, but yeah, they're in the making, which will be very good. So, for those interested, what was the name of this company? Oh, the Tabletop Workshop. So this is the 28mm tower that was sent, and I believe they sent the fortified wall section. So they've sent this for review, which is really cool because I don't paint medieval stuff, obviously, especially not in 28mm, but I definitely will do. Hi, Patrick. Your 3D stuff is in printing. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Patrick is printing me some Pacific terrain for my Flames of War model. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. If you haven't checked out Patrick's work, you can see that on the Flames of War Facebook page, as well as the painting group Flames of War page. And he's putting out some fantastic stuff on there. West close to the border with Germany. Oh, okay. Yeah, it'd be a very lovely part of Poland then. Working on Flames of War Japanese and Australians. Looking forward to Australian tank painting and decal markings videos. Okay. We haven't really looked at Australian vehicles. I'll be looking at British. I'm sure my good friend Adam will put out Flames of War Australian articles on the Flames of War page. But yes, I will definitely look at painting some Aussie tanks. I would like to paint a Matilda Frog. I know it's not even in the book, but I'd like to get my hands on a 3D print Matilda Frog and paint that one up because I think that would look very cool. And for those that aren't for sure what a Matilda Frog is, it's the Matilda 2 tank, but with the flamethrower. God, that would have been deadly. A Matilda with a flamethrower. Those poor Japanese. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I will be doing a 172. So I've got the Dragon diecast tanks. It's a SP gun on a track. I'll be doing a Pimp My diecast. So I'll be adding some AB crew to it and weathering it slightly and stuff. So it should be a very fun video. Even if you're not interested in it, it'll be a very good way of making your diecast open top vehicles look just that little bit better with crew and stuff, because I think you gotta have crew in them, right? Listen, I just started some early war German infantry in 172. Oh, that would be fun. I've got to do an early war German tutorial because I know the shades of green were just slightly different. Well, I know obviously here uniforms were always the shade and the color of the uniform was always slightly different. But I believe the early war was just a touch different. I'm working on my 15 British Jeeps from Empress for my Arnhem project. Have 2 of the new howitzers on the way. 15 British Jeeps. Wow. Mikey, you're a lot braver than I am. 15 28mm Jeeps. I was ripping whatever's left of my hair out just doing three 172 scale Jeeps. So 15 28 mm Jeeps, and that wouldn't have been a cheap investment either. So I'm sure your troops fighting in Arnhem, if it's Arnhem you're doing it for, would be appreciative of all of those Jeeps. Are you going? I'm hoping you're going with the single Vickers if you're going with Arnhem, or are you going with like D-Day or Varsity? Whatever. What's the armament looking like for your Jeeps? Have you got an ambulance Jeep in there, a signals Jeep? Gotta have all the Jeeps in there. I've got my 172 signals Jeep. I'm just waiting for a few extra bits to arrive for that one. And then I thought for a bit of fun, I've got myself an M22 and 172 scale. I've got to just tweak it slightly, but he's going to be there for my British Paris. Obviously, not at Arnhem. But I like to always think, I wonder what would have happened at Arnhem if they had some of these. Maybe not the M22 Locust, because I think this was terrible compared to the Tetrarch. Um, but even if they had this or the Tetrarch at Arnhem instead of the Recce Jeeps, would the ambush that they came up upon that prevented them from getting to the bridge, or for the majority of them, I wonder if having a small, very light tank would have helped with that. Just because obviously in an open top Jeep, you stand zero chance of surviving any sort of rifle or machine gun fire. So it would have been an interesting scenario. I know that as well as the Americans, they have those armor plated front and side, just the driver's side and passenger side. I wonder if they British adopted something like that as well. I know they needed to be light to fit into the Horsa gliders, so I'm only thinking out loud, but it would have been interesting. If you've got a second later, pop up to a police card, mate. I'll drop you a link of you're happy to see the if you're happy to see the project. Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. You should have my Facebook as well, so feel free to just drop it on there in case I forget afterwards. I love anything British Airborne, me. So definitely can't wait to see it. It's going to be a labour of love. Oh yeah, I feel you on that one. I do believe my Arnhem Heroes guide was the smock base colour was Middlestone, if I'm not correct. I've been using khaki recently, and I feel like I like khaki better. So if you want a bit of a change, I have been painting some of my 20 mm Brits a variety of Middlestone and khaki just to give them different shades of the Denison smock. But if you want to check out my 172 British Airborne, the latest one I did for the Italieri figure, that's using khaki. And I think that was good. Or I tell you what, in 28 mm, my Rhodesians was khaki. Oh, you've got the khaki. All right, I'll shut up about the bloody khaki then. But that's great. Yeah, yeah. I look forward to seeing what you do and how they come out. It's definitely gonna be a labour of love, but those Elnham Heroes figures, aren't they just lovely? They are really, really nice. Paul Hicks, God, he's a good sculptor, isn't he? I wish I had his talent. God, look how messy my room is. Sorry, I'm watching myself on the. That's why I keep looking this way. I'm watching myself whilst you guys are chatting away, and I can just see the absolute state of my room. I need to get those fancy rooms with all the lights and the. So I got to stop whacking my table as well. I've got to professionalize this channel. Maybe when we hit 10K, I might try and professionalize the channel a little bit better. Reform the channel. But my wife got a adapter for my microphone, and it seems to have done the trick nicely. I'm using my phone as well. I used to try and use my camera wire up directly to my computer from the camera itself. That was just awful. I think if you've seen my early streams, I've actually got rid of most of them now. I've had a bit of a clear up. A lot of my Flames of War list building videos have gone. And I should probably start reducing a lot of the videos I've got duplicates of, like my British Airborne. Only because when I Googled 28 mm British Airborne on YouTube, like the first 3 videos are all mine and they're all just different videos. Well, for me anyway, I'm not sure if it's the same for other people. But I'm like, oh, it's probably not a good look, is it? You got three different of the same sort of videos, just like you're trying to clickbait. Um, but maybe not. If the videos if they stagnate and nothing, there's no views in that, maybe I won't. And Mikey, whereabouts in the UK are you based, mate? You can unlist them, right? You can still link them. Yeah, I've got them unlisted. I have got the Flames of War ones unlisted. I've got them all unlisted. So I will list the Flames of War videos. The only reason I unlisted them was the two things. One, I didn't want the clutter, and and two, um, I was going to enlist them and just provide a link. So if people want to see them, then they can go see them. If there's no point having them on this channel because it was just a Vlogmas series, which was then destroyed by the great banning of 2024. So it was interrupted anyway. I didn't even make it to Christmas. Michael, hello from Germany. Hello, Guten Tag. There you go. I do know something. Hopefully I said that right anyway. Whereabouts in Germany are you from? Oh, Hampshire. Very nice. Some lovely countryside up in Hampshire. So I say up because I'm in the southern hemisphere. I think my wife and I might have driven down that way actually. When we were visiting my brother-in-law in London. Peter, what vehicle should I buy for DAK Crusader battles, and what brands provide best models for Flames of War? But honestly, Flames of War. I think Battlefront do some of the best plastic kits on the market in the 15mm front. You've got companies like Peter Pig, they'll be all metal. I know Plastic Soldier Company do some plastic kits, but Flames of War do the best. I think for 15mm, I think they do the best plastic kits. But that's my opinion. I'm not promote like Flames of War. Don't pay me for my videos or anything like that. They do provide some samples from time to time. They've been very generous with this release. But yeah, that's my honest opinion. From all I've had Peter Pig models, I've had Plastic Soldier Company models, I've had other 15mm models. I always tend to find myself going back to Flames of War for 15mm. West Germany near the border to Netherlands. I'm not even going to. I can do Dusseldorf, but I am not even going to try and pronounce that. I'm going to try because it'll just be funny. But Mochen Gladbeck. There you go. Terrible. What German vehicle should DAK have in 1942? For the DAK, it'd be Panzer III. I think you can have anything: Panzer IIs, Panzer IIIs, Panzer IVs, but the shorter barrel. Yeah, we're in 1942. Not going to have the Tiger there just yet. Yeah, just I'm not too sure with the DAK and the Eighth Army. I don't really know too much about the African front, to be completely honest with you. I don't know a lot about anything in terms of historical accuracy and trying to be as accurate as you can be. But yeah, I'm more certain you've got the Panzer II, you would have the Panzer III, all the variants of the Panzer III. You would have the earlier versions of the Panzer IVs. You'd have your half tracks, your Kubel wagons, lots of trucks, and then all the those SP guns. The Lorraine, what was that? What was that big ass truck with the Pack 40 gun on there? I think it was. Lots of 3D prints if you need more obscure vehicles like trucks, ARVs, etc. Yeah, exactly. You've got 3D prints. There's loads and loads of 3D print companies out there, especially if you're in Europe and the US. You've got companies all over the shop that can do really good ones. Thanks and cheers from Queensland. Peter from Queensland is an Aussie. That's excellent. Yeah, no worries. Sorry, I can't be of great help. But Panzer threes, Panzer fours, and Panzer twos are definitely a good shout. Bunker flak, AK flak bus. Yeah, well, what was that bloody thing called? It was like a van, but it's got a big old gun on the front of it. Flames of War do one anyway, so you're not going to need to struggle to find it. Um, I've got a Lorraine something or another in my head, but I don't think that's right. I think that was the 21st Panzer. I can't remember. I'm from Genoa, and you can call me Max, as my name is too long. Yeah, thank you. I'm terrible, mate. Honestly, I'm awful. I'm really bad in Australia, let alone with Australian names and such, let alone when we throw European names in there. I mean, my name is Christian with a K, um, and if people struggle with that over here, so I'm not the worst one, but yeah, I'm pretty bad. Diana, that's it. Diana, something like that. That's the one. Half track with a captured Soviet gun, very similar to a Pack 40. There you go. John Holland is the man of the hour. Thank you for that one. Um, those Germans, eh? Whatever they could sort of mash together. Not like the US, just having those nice, keep the Sherman and make a million different variations of it. Hello from a Brit working in China. Wow. Very much enjoy your bolt action 28mm painting guides. Thank you. Ah, I'm chuffed, mate. Thank you very much. Um, I hope you're enjoying China, um, as Brits don't normally do too well being away from home. So I really hope you're enjoying China. Very much enjoy your bike. What are you painting on the bolt action 28mm front? And is bolt action accessible in China? Like, is there a lot of local stores that sell it, or do you have to ship it in? Because I know Flames of War, they were trying to branch out to China. I think they even tailor some of their box sets for the Chinese. I think there was like a Chinese specific box set that only they could get. We couldn't get it, and they had like a few special models in there that weren't accessible anymore. Um, so yeah, it'd be very interesting to see is it if bolt action's popular over there. Only because like, did Warlord have a Chinese army? Models of the Chinese army in World War Two. I know they have Korean War models, and maybe they're easily tailored to be World War Two. I'm not too sure. No, they wouldn't be actually, because Korean would be communist China. So yeah, interesting. War of Liberation. That's the one. That's the one. And they had Carius, I think, the exclusive model, not his tank, but the model. If I'm not mistaken, it was a bit unusual. So I was asking before, and I need the help from you guys in the live stream. I'm going to keep bringing it up because I'm really stuck. I've got some Tau that I need to Warhammer 40k. I know I'm not going to. It's not going to become a popular thing on the channel. I assure you. I was just giving it. My sister's boyfriend gave me a whole heap of this stuff, and I want to paint them somewhat semi-historical in terms of uniforms. I need ideas, guys. I have no idea how I should paint these things. I don't want to keep them like the Warhammer stuff that we see everywhere. I want to try and keep them somewhat historically based. So Tau, think those little alien things that look like robots. What on earth camo scheme should I paint those in, or uniform style from World War II should I paint them? I want to keep it in a World War II uniform style if I can, or like a modern uniform style. I've popped the pic and link on the Facebook page, mate, and just joined the Patreon. Oh, Mike, you didn't have to join the Patreon. That was definitely not a hint. I really appreciate it. People reach out all the time asking for paints, not lists, but specific paints. I'm always happy to give them. It's just I always feel cheeky asking for money on Patreon, but not giving anything back to my Patreons. So I was just like, a paint list is easy to do. But it's not really a good paint list. It's literally just a paint list, how you would write it down. So yeah, I really appreciate it, Mikey. Thank you so much. Like a Scandinavian splinter. Oscar's going real crazy on me. That is a good idea, though. Scandinavian splinter. I like that. Splinter camo. Yes, I think you're on the money there. My mate painted his towel green and purple for your daily dose. Green and purple. Now that is different. Although I've seen them painting all variety of different of colors. I've got some book here as well that shows you how you should paint them, but I'm not a Warhammer channel, and I don't intend to be one. Um, that's not my bag. I'm not into sci-fi or fantasy. Um, I like the historical stuff, but I think doing the odd video, especially because it's donated to me, and I just have to do it. And then hopefully we get a few viewers out of it. Maybe convert some of those guys to the wargaming scene, the historical wargaming scene. Mummy, you do a lot for the hobby community, mate. So happy to join. You're a bloody legend, Mikey. Thank you so much, mate. I really do appreciate that one. It's crazy how many people have joined Patreon and the YouTube channel as members. It is a little embarrassing because I feel like I'm taking money off people that are just wanting to do the same thing as me. But it does go back to the channel, and once a year, all of the money from that month goes to a charity that was very close to my heart. I don't need to repeat the story. You guys probably heard it a million times. Why I made this channel, but just the fact that you guys can help do that. I have built this channel to give back to the charity that helped me, and I want to go big. Each year, I want to go bigger and bigger, and we're doing it. We're definitely doing it. I'm super chuffed that I can do it. I have some Halo Ghosts on my bench now, and it's a good palette cleanser doing metallics and bright colors. Yeah, I found that with the American War of Independence miniatures I painted. Just painting those brighter colors was good. This castle that was sent to me, I've only got a couple 28mm medieval figures that I could paint for it, so I was half tempted to get some Warhammer Fantasy. I know there's one army in there, Bretonia or something, that kind of look French. And I'm like, might be a good way of branching out to the Warhammer scene, but I don't think so. I think I'll just keep it to my medieval figures. I've got some War of the Roses figures that I'll probably paint up, just a couple to show you how the castle, sorry, that's Aussies say castle, how the castle looks with it all assembled. Thomas, hello, mate. What's on the workbench? Nothing different from last week, Tom. We've got the 28mm Brits, lots of 28mm Brits. Actually, we've got AB and Checkpoint miniatures on the bench at the moment, and some old Battlefield minis. You're going to hear some rustling. Oh, I've ripped it. I managed to snag some British Airborne stuff here. Obviously, this is just like drop canisters. So a few of those on the bench. We've got 28mm Warlord Games SS for the Vallejo. Pretty much the same as last week. I don't think there's anything that's really changed. Because I've been trying to get my personal stuff done, to be completely honest. Mostly buying Taobao, Chinese online shopping, or on trips. I am currently painting the new Curry starter set, a very small scene, and 0 hobby shops in my locality. That's a bummer that it's not as big as you would think it would be, but it's good that you can you found ways around making sure you can get your hobbying done. I remember I used to take, when I did some work away over in the eastern states of Australia, which isn't like an hour drive, it's like a 4-hour flight away for us. I used to take my Vallejo paints and that, put them in the suitcase, and whilst the lads go off and they were going out and checking out different places in Adelaide, I just stayed in the hotel room painting. I'm such a loner, but it's what I like to do, especially to kill time and relax. I'm just painting some German grenadiers before starting on the new US Warlord Airmans. I hate painting German Y-straps, lol. That's Jeremy. Yeah, I feel you, Jeremy. Especially if you're painting them black. I hate painting black. because how do you make black straps stand out on a 28mm figure? Some people do it fantastically well, especially people that are used to painting like Warhammer figures and such. Um, so I know some people put a dab of blue in there. I use a bit of grey. Um, but yeah, painting those Y straps is annoying. I love the plastic models because I can put less equipment on them, which I feel like saves me a whole load of time. Because I always like to think, and this is coming from somebody who's never been in combat. But if you're in combat, especially in like World War II, the less equipment you've got on you is probably going to be of benefit, right? Um, so you just want your ammo pouches on there, maybe your canteen, but like everything else, if you know you're going on a patrol or something, surely you're not going to want to carry your bag with your mess tin and all this extra stuff that you don't need. You ditch that. I always think back to like Band of Brothers. That I think it's when they're taking the guns and it's like they literally just take their magazine, the ammunition, TNT, grenades, and a water bottle. I think I don't even know if they take a water bottle. That's it. We're going out literally to in combat. That's how I think I like to do my models, and it saves me a whole heap of time of painting them. Oscar says grey highlight, right? Yeah, I use a grey highlight, but I blend it in with the black because if you go too light in the grey, it looks silly. It doesn't look right. So you got to. I like a lot of my stuff I do on my channel now is you see a lot of people that will go. They like to go like, this is your one color, and then they get another part, and this is your highlight color. That second part now, I always seem to like to mix the two. So you use the original base color. So you paint your miniature, you wash it, and you go over it in a layer. And then I get my highlight color. But instead of just using it as a highlight color, I add it in. I add a mixture of my base color and a mixture of the highlight, mix them together, and I feel like that just blends it in just so much better. Weapons and ammo. Yeah, exactly, Mikey. Weapons and ammo. Um, what a good TV series. Oh, it's the best. That's why I end up paying so much US Airborne because they're just so cool. Harry's joined us from Fog of War. I've been painting D&D figures lately instead of Flames War and Team Yankee. The change has been nice. Do you like to switch up what you paint every now and again? Any tips to keep up your mojo? Not really. I still end up painting World War II figures. Um, I get nervous about painting bright colors because I don't feel confident in doing it. Um, but to get my mojo going, if something tickles my fancy, so like at the moment I've got this rage about I want to paint just British Airborne stuff, so I'm painting and painting and painting all this 20mm British Airborne stuff. I've never painted so much British Airborne stuff in my life for 20mm stuff, but that might die off and I might start getting a bit tired of it, and then I'll move to something else. So like I'll start painting some SS Germans, and then I'll get into the rhythm of doing that, and then I'll come back to the British Airborne again once I start getting bored of painting oak leaf and P dot constantly. Um, but I do get the itch every now and again to do something completely radical. So like I went through a stage of like I wanted to do Rorke's drifts so bad, but then by the time it got here, that sort of urge to paint Rorke's drift sort of dissipated because now I'm like, oh, I want to do my British Airborne now. But now I've got the Rorke's drift in the ever growing stash somewhere behind all this junk you can see in the video, and I'm sure I'll get around to painting that one day. Best series, binge watched it last weekend as we booked our ferry and Airbnb over to Normandy at the end of June. Oh my god, I'm so jealous. Never been to Normandy, never been to Arnhem. Really want to get over there. Trying to convince my wife, but I don't think she really wants to go over there. Oh, that's going to be an awesome trip, mate. Make sure you take lots of photos. Let us know how it goes. Yeah, that'd be so good. Have you seen? I know you're not going to Arnhem, you're going to Normandy, but um, the Airborne Museum, I think at Arnhem, is looks amazing. I think they've even got a horse and glider experience, but there might be one at Normandy actually, as well. Maybe. Don't go to Normandy in January. Arnhem was nice, lots of good museums. Oh, you've been, Harry? I didn't know that. Don't go to Normandy in January. Yeah, I've been to France in January quite a couple of times, and I like the winter, I like the rain, and I hate sweating. Was at Arnhem at the 80th was incredible. Wow, that's so cool. And you would have been able to see there would have been a few vets left as well, which would have been awesome to see. I did see they did like a big power drop. I think they do that every year though, don't they? I see people collect some sand from each of the landing beaches. God, that's straight Saving Private Ryan vibes, isn't it? That guy getting a bit of sand from each beach that he's landed at. I think it was Anzio and um, Sicily. I can't remember the other ones he had in his stash. I'll be in Normandy in a couple of weeks too. Oh, guys, you guys are making me so jealous. My friend at work from Normandy, he used to play in some bunkers as a kid. God, that's so cool. I remember in Leicester there was an air raid shelter. I mean, an air raid shelter was that compared to a bunker, but we used to love that. But it was locked. They had a big metal gate. You couldn't get into it, but you used to just peek your little head through. What goodies are in there? And then we used to, where I grew up in Leicester, we had a park called Braggart Park, and there was a bullet patch. And he used to be able to go. The U.S. Army, the British Army, used to shoot on this at this park. And one day I pulled out this little ball, and I went, "What the hell is this?" As a kid, I had no idea, and it had all these little dents in it and that. And anyway, it was in my drawer for years. And then when we were just about to move to Australia, unbeknownst to me, my old man took it to the museum at Braggart Park, and turns out it was a musket ball. He didn't tell me any of this until years and years later when I went, "Actually, where's that ball gone that I got?" Um, but yeah, it turns out it was a musket ball in the sand or mud we dug out. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I miss all of that. You don't get that in Australia, but you do get a lot of gold if you know where to look. Saw Jeff Roberts, Kingsway South Borders at the Hardenstein Hotel. Oh, wow, that's cool. Wow, that's really cool. I hope you got an autograph if you could. I missed the Arnhem anniversary by a week. They were taking down the decorations. Ah, man, that would have been difficult. I hope I've seen that the Dutch are amazing with the celebrations of that. So I hope even with the veterans not being able to make it there, or obviously the veterans not being around anymore, I hope those celebrations still just are still just as big. It's just a shame that the vets aren't around anymore. Oh, okay. He was the only one able to get over there for the 80th. There's only three left. Oh God. Oh man, that is so sad. I mean, it's crazy. There would be 100, obviously, but it's where's the years going? Mike is also going. So Max and Mike can meet up. Someone will have to play the German, someone will have to play the British Airborne or Polish, depending on where you want to play. Funnish Museum is a weird private museum. Obviously, just everything this guy picked up over his lifetime. Totally bonkers. Hitler's sofa. Hitler's sofa? How the hell do you even verify that? I remember my history teacher in the UK. He he used to just get stuff from flea markets when in like the 60s. And he had a whole bloody garage full of all of these uniforms, SS uniforms, British uniforms, American uniforms, insignia, flags, everything, helmets, you name it, he got it. He had deactivated weapons. I don't know if they're deactivated or not. All from these flea markets, cheap as chips at the time. And now, could you imagine? And Eva's pansies, oh God, yeah. I think the moths would have got to those. Hitler probably sat on lots of sofas over years, so probably not too special. Yeah, I think anything that he touched is probably special to some sort of collector, regardless of the characters, the opinion of everyone's opinion of the character, obviously being a crazy sort of lunatic. Like the garage in Hot Fuzz. Yeah, exactly like the garage. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a sea mine in there. For Tuesday, I plan for Arnhem or Ardennes. Why not both? Why not both? We have one veteran left at the Gordon Highlanders Museum. He's 99 and was captured soon after D-Day. God, these men. Could you imagine if you could just pick their brains or just hear some of their stories? Yeah, just crazy. It's so good that we live in a world where some of it's been captured on YouTube and such. Um, I mean, even the other day, I was listening to some of the Titanic survivors. So 1912, some of the Titanic survivors did a, in podcast interview style thing for like the BBC or whatever, and it's on YouTube. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But Dad used to tow World War II German tanks onto the range for target practice, they're £1 million worth. Could you imagine, Mike? Um, I was watching Mark Felton, and they reckon that there might be a King Tiger 2 buried in Italy. Was it King Tiger 2 or was it Tiger 1? It might have been Tiger 1, actually. But that'd be worth millions. Millions. Um, there must be some of those. Imagine Russia and Eastern Europe. There must be some swamps and stuff that have got like panzers and panthers just in the swamps, just waiting to be found. If you do get a chance to get over to Normandy, there's so much to do that isn't just military. That's how I sold it to my missus. Yeah, I know. Well, if I said to my missus we'll be going to Disneyland Paris, she just has to put up with me going crazy in Normandy for a day or two. I think she would appreciate that one. Um, how are the French in Normandy as well? Are they nice? Um, because I know I've had some runnings with some. I mean, I'm just generalising here. I mean, there's probably loads and loads of lovely French people. Especially, I've experienced loads of them, but there was some in Paris that weren't very friendly to me, and I think that was because I had an English accent. So I'll make sure I sound Australian when I go over next time. Maybe she likes wine and cheese. No, unfortunately not, mate. Um, might be able to get her on the like designer clothing and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. She's not really into that, but I think Disneyland would definitely be the sweet enough, especially with my son as well. Now I've been to lots of places, just not been to anywhere historical in Europe. So like I travelled all around Europe. I did go to a concentration camp. Where was that though? I can't remember where that was. Um, but yeah, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, like the Black Forest, Arnhem, Normandy. Um, I'd also love to go. I've been to Munich, but I didn't go to um, the Eagle's Nest. I think that would have been awesome to see. Yeah, don't go to Paris. That says Mike, and then Mikey says I was mugged in Paris, but the French are all over are cool. My wife was robbed in Paris. Stay clear. Yeah, I went to Paris and I was a bit of a cocky bollocks. I learned a bit of French at school, so I thought I was cocky as anything. Um, and I went on the underground, and the woman that worked there spat at the window, and all I said was, "Hello, my name is Christian" in French, and she spat at the window. Obviously behind the window. She worked there. I'm like, what did I say? But she gave him the ticket, so God knows what that was all about. But yeah, I didn't get mugged or robbed, thank God. But I was in a big group, so that might have helped. Sorry to hear that, chaps. Yeah, that sucks. Um, they haven't forgiven us for saving them from the Germans. She swears was the Frankist tree. The Dutch and Ormond Beak are amazing though. Their whole vibe was just so chilled out. Oh, that's cool. I saw it on James Holland and the other historian. They've got a series now, and they did an Arnhem series, and I think one of the last one was their like they did a drive around Arnhem in a jeep, and they went to a cemetery and stuff. And yeah, they said it was just amazing. The Dutch are great. Al Murray, that's the one. Al Murray, yeah, he's awesome, isn't he? Al Murray. Very funny too. Very funny. Bikes everywhere. I didn't see too many clogs when I went to Holland. I But yeah, I did see bikes everywhere and canals, right? Al Murray says Alan. Yes, Al Murray. How could I forget? He's good, isn't he? And I love James Holland. His series when he goes to Kohima, such a good series. If you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend seeing that. Goes to places that up until recently were out of bounds as well. The joke in Amsterdam and the canals are one third water and one third mud, one third bicycles. Yeah, I could imagine. Mikey says he had a meet and greet with Al Murray a few weeks ago and had a great chat about the ADF. How's he like in person? Is he just as bubbly and friendly as he seems? Got that sense of humour? A proper copy of his books are good also. I haven't read his book. I don't get time to read books, and I'll be completely honest. I just flip to the pictures. I always have done, and it's terrible. I've got a bookcase behind me. I'm gonna pretend that I've read like two of those books. I think the rest of them are just in there for me to look at the black and white photos, and I'm like, the rest of it's like, oh, I've read a few. I read Glider Pilots at Arnhem. That's a fantastic, fantastic book. Um, the Forgotten Soldier. Who's that? Sven something or another. A great book, but I know there's some controversy around that. Was he actually in the Grossdeutschland? Some people say no. He might have just made it up. I don't know. I can't say for certain. There's a few other books. I mean, I could rattle them off. But I've read John Frost's book at Arnhem, not just Arnhem, his whole experience in the First Airborne. I've also read Roy Urquhart's book of his time in Arnhem. Again, another fantastic book. Gives you a sense of what he was thinking. Michael S. I'm new to this channel. Do you also do 172 or mainly 50 mil? Yes, mate. Lots and lots of 172 on this channel. Lots of 172. Lots of 28 mil and 15 mil as well. And 12 mil if you're so inclined. Not lots, a couple of 12 mil. His books are pretty big, but there are lots of detailed maps in them, which is always interesting. Yeah, that's what we like. Lots of detailed maps. Christian is a scale checker and would do 15, 20 mil, 28 mil. He's not picky. No, I'm also looking at 1/35 scale at one point or another, potentially. Netherlands is great for family holiday. They're very kind to children, but to be honest, I prefer France. Okay, that's a good thing. I loved southern France. Nice was awesome. I loved Nice. Um, I haven't really experienced like Bordeaux or actually I did go to Bordeaux, but it was just a drive through. Bordeaux, but like the whole of northern France. I went there when I was 14. Um, I've been to Paris a few times in my adulthood, but when I was at school in the UK, we went to northern France. We went to some sort of theme park. It was literally just an excursion for 2 days. I got into a fight with a group of French kids. So English kids against French kids. Well, it's bloody Agincourt, but without the swords and shields. And um, I'm pretty sure the French won that one though. So we won't put that one down in the history books. Book tickets for the We Have Ways Festival, huge reenactment show with panels and stuff. Was really cool. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we don't get anything like that in Perth, Western Australia. Yeah, nothing. I miss all of that. In Leicester, we had a steam line. We have the steam line, I should say, and they used to do commando style raids on the trains. So there used to be a reenactment, and the train would be pulling into the station. There would be a big explosion, and British commandos would be SAS would be coming down, raiding the train, and then they'll scoot off, and you'd have all the Germans on the platform, and the train would have the flags on there and stuff. It was so cool. Yeah, I went to a few of those, and the medieval ones reenactments were really cool. Proper couple of laughing my ass off. Yeah, yeah. If ever I get into a fight, the result is pretty much always going to go against me because I'm absolutely useless. Yeah, I like to typical sort of Englishman try and talk my way out of it if I can. Sure, that just wasn't fair evaders on the train. Yeah, probably. Have you been to Ozama? I haven't, Mike. I haven't. I will get out there in the next year or two, I'm sure. There was a big Flames War event over there, um, and it's made me want to go because they got a free ride on the tank and stuff if you did well, uh, which obviously isn't guaranteed for me, but yeah, it'd be worth it to do. Um, I find that as long as you stay away from the big cities on the continent, it's all gravy, lol. Yeah, and like you said, it's the same. French going to England, I'm sure they'll get some arseholes. I've had some arseholes in England being English anyway, so, is what it is. We should go to Ozama later in the year. I'd love to, mate. I'd love to. It's just, I don't know when it is. I think it's June or July, August, September. We should maybe try it. I wonder what the flights are like. Is it in Cairns? Yeah, Cairns in Queensland. Adam wants to go. Yep, he did make that point. So does Elliot. I think Corey's made a point of saying it before. The museum, yes, the museum. It's in a museum. So they played it in a museum, and then I think some of them got to ride in a Panzer IV? Was it Sherman? Or half track? Could be anything. Is Ensemble like the tank museum in the UK? Yeah, it's just full of tanks, full of tanks, and they are amazing at restoring it. If I would highly recommend checking out their Facebook page. They are so good at showing videos of what they're working on and that. Yeah, there's a swastika donated to the museum that was donated by a trooper that fought in the RTR my great uncle was in. Wow, that's awesome. That's so cool. Adam was in the Panzer IV. Yes, that's right. It was a Panzer IV, yes. My last building 172 was Italia SDK said 251. I was getting crazy with applying the tracks. Horrible. That's the one thing with 172. I hate those individual tracks, and some of the rubber tracks are just so gross. But the more you do it, the more you get used to it. Yeah, I haven't done many 172 scale kits on the channel in terms of tanks, but they are coming. I've got a Sherman hybrid for the British coming in Firefly, and that'll be coming on soon. Mikey says, "Do it." Yeah, maybe if I can scrape the funds together, it might be a trip that we can do over a weekend. The museum does great restoration videos. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Harry, a proper cuppa. I came across it by chance when a friend of a friend shared some photos of his trip there to me. I have the regimental diaries of the events around the story of the flag. Crazy history. That's so cool. I then made the connection and contacted the museum now. It's funny how that sort of stuff works, isn't it? And the fact that you can get that connection, that's so cool. Um, yeah, my great grandfather was in the RAF, but he went over to Iceland. I did a video on it, but he went over to Iceland and then he was shipped over to India. Um, and God, I'd love to retrace his steps, but yeah, I don't know. That's quite a long way to go. Go over to Iceland and back to India. There's a great glass chairlift next to the Armour Museum. That's fun too. And it will be a great time of the year to go, Harry, because we won't be sweating our arse off because it won't be that humid, hopefully, at that time of the year. Yeah, but it was crossing the Rhine River in the Shermans that had been converted to D-Day tanks. Oh, sorry, DD tanks. For them, it was a completely new concept. Yeah, and imagine it would be. And how trippy that must have been as well, floating around in your Sherman. Um, yeah, that would have been crazy for the regiment, those they hadn't heard of it before. Did they? But they would have had lessons from D-Day, right? Because that was what you said. Had a lot of fun training by the sounds of it. No, no lessons. Okay. They landed 3 days after D-Day. Ah, sorry, I was meaning by people that were at D-Day, so like instructors and stuff. Mark, you have to try some IBG model. Tracks are a nightmare to build. I got a Panzer 470A from, where is it from? I kind of look in my stash, but I'm not gonna. Panzer 470A. 172 Panzer 470A from and it has to be the worst model I've ever tried to assemble. It got to the point where I just threw it in the bin because it was just awful. And I've read so many good things about It's a Ukrainian company. They do some great and some obscure World War II kits, but this Panzer 470A was just awful. I'm not sure if I just got a really bad one. Just the kit just was a nightmare. The thought of it now makes me angry. Thanks for the warning, Max. Just found a copy of On Black Tuesday that I asked my eldest son's girlfriend to get me for Christmas. Forgot all about it. Now I asked the book after reading Al Murray's book, Command. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I haven't read any of those books. I should probably get on to reading a bit more. I just don't have the time now. That's my excuse anyway. I never did read when I had the time, but I don't have the time now. It's only when I go on holidays I seem to read. Just South is where they had rehearsals for D-Day, and during one of those rehearsals attacked by U-boats, and a lot of American guys are. I think I watched that on Mark Felton's YouTube channel. I think he went into that. Buried in UK cemeteries. Yeah, those poor guys. Much like the Canadians, right? And in the Dieppe raid, you got to feel for them because there was no way that was ever going to be a success, but they still went ahead with it anyway. But I suppose it taught them valuable lessons for D-Day. But God, a lot of people die in wars for absolutely no reason. It's crazy. Um, Ian, am I late? You're not late, but I will be finishing very soon. I'm already 7 minutes over, but we are having a good chat, so I might just stay on for another 5 or 10 minutes. But it's work tomorrow for me. It's almost 11 o'clock, and I've still got to have a little bit of a Google before bed. You've always got to have a quick Google before bed. Yeah, Mark did an episode on it. Yeah, I thought he did. I remembered something on that. I tell you who I've been watching a lot of lately, and it's a guy called the History Chap. He's like a Mark Felton, but I think he's a little bit better. I think his presentation's a little bit better. He's a little bit more relatable. He's a really good storyteller, and he goes into some really, really fascinating periods of English and British history. And he goes through World War II as well. But he's a really, really good. He has a really good historical channel. It's really worth watching out. There's some stories he talks about wars that almost happened between the British Empire and other countries that just blow your minds. I think one was over like a pig in Canada. It's just crazy, crazy stuff. Got the week off for V-Day celebrations. How do you pull that? That's awesome. The History Chap is brilliant. Yeah, I like his channel. Says a proper cuppa. Michael, evening, mate. Good evening. Thanks for joining. You're a very nice person. Thanks for the video and your content. Please support him by pressing like button. Ah, if that's aimed at me, thank you. Thank you. I'm not exactly sure if that's aimed at me, but yeah. Slapton Sands. Slapton Sands? You have to explain that one to me, mate. I'm not exactly too sure what that's all about. There's another chap, the red coat. Yes, I did see him. Something's really good too. I watched his stuff on the Zulu Wars. I thought it was good. Yeah, it's really good. But the history chap, he does it for me. Oh, the D-Day rehearsal area. Right. That makes sense for that Slaps and Sands. Okay. Yeah. I think a lot of those Americans would have been looking at the beach in the UK or in the south of England going, "That's not a beach." Because I only remember it as being full of seashells and the water being dark. Sorry, Mike. I'm not selling your area to anyone. Lovely countryside, just the beaches aren't all up, aren't up to much. And freezing cold. Yeah, I remember being in the Isle of Wight in winter. And my mum telling my cousin and I that she'll give us a fiver each if we go for a swim, and we stupidly did it. Um, and my God, was it cold? I won't definitely won't be repeating that in my adult life. That's for sure. The pub in my hometown was John Howard's HQ before he went off to take Pegasus Bridge too. Did they name the pub after him or a part of the pub after him after his achievements over there? I remember that beach scene in Mr. Bean, and I'm like, Pom's really cool. This is a beach, yeah. Yeah, we do. We do. I remember being like, we're going to the seaside. You're like, yay. And you get down there and you like can't even walk on it because your feet are getting destroyed by seashells or rocks. And then you dip your toe in and you're running back onto the beach because it's freezing. Um, yeah, we do some crazy stuff. Barbecuing when it's raining, you sit out there with an umbrella over the barbecue. Having a barbecue in the UK is, we're living that Aussie dream. My wife is calling me. Lunch is served, so I'll have to leave. Thanks again. Have a nice weekend, all of you. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate you coming on, mate. Enjoy your lunch, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week. Mikey had no name change, just a nice blue plaque on the wall. Well, a little bit of recognition is better than nothing, right? Because bloody hell does he deserve it. And so do those glider pilots. I mean, how on earth did they glide in at night so successfully on a quite a dark night from what I remember? I think it's quite overcast or something like that. Unbelievable skill, and to land so close when, the paratroopers are being dropped here, there, and everywhere, but these gliders could somehow find it within, like, a few meters. That is just insane. Um, a massive credit must go to those glider pilots for that. Thank you, goodbye, gentlemen. Thank you, goodbye, gentlemen. Sorry, I've just repeated that. I'll just make sure I read that correctly. Thanks, Michael. Bye, mate. A proper cuppa. I think I had one barbecue my whole childhood life living in the UK. I remember, I think it used to be Guy Fawkes. We used to have a Barbie because obviously we'd already be burning Guy Fawkes. Um, and I just remember I can just hear the rain sizzling on the barbecue, and my dad like, "Get the umbrella, son," and I'd be, he'd have the umbrella out there and be cooking sausages and burgers on there. Craziness. Sorry, but Slapton Sand is where Operation Tiger took place as a rehearsal for D-Day, and some German E-boats showed up as well, some friendly fire casualties. Yeah, I heard the preparation, especially for the amphibious side, definitely had a lot of hiccups and a lot of fatalities, unfortunately. Lessons learned from the mess from that was from the Sicily landings, I'd say. Lol. Yeah, especially from the airborne side of things. My God. I don't know how the gliders managed to fit their pilots and their massive balls. Yeah, they had some huge balls. All I can think of is South Park, and they'll have a wheelbarrow for their balls. It was 28 degrees this week. Barbecues everywhere. But yes, it's still cold here. I tell you, everyone was complaining about. I saw everyone was complaining about that winter fuel allowance was being taken away off the pensions. I'm talking politics, by the way, but they said that it's actually been like one of the hottest starts to the year or something for the UK. It never happened when I was there. It was always bloody raining. But then I complain like buggery over here that I'm sweating my ass off all the time. It's too hot and that. The mildest winter too. Yeah. Um, we never really used to get it too cold in Leicester in the Midlands. We never used to get too much snow. It just used to be ice. very icy. Um, but yeah, interesting. The weather's changing for you guys ever so slightly, potentially for the better, by the sounds of things. Although you guys are probably going to need to get some aircon in that. I mean, it's winter. We're coming into winter here. I think it's like I don't know. It must be like 15 degrees outside at the moment now. And I'm still sweating. My missus is walking around in a jumper and jeans, and I'm walking around in a shirt and shorts. I'm still sweating my ass off. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. And that's going to be interesting actually. If I'm still doing these live streams in summer times, I don't know how I'm going to do that because I will literally be melting unless I put the aircon on, and then you guys will be uh, hearing a lot of background noise with that one. Aircon is on the wish list. Uh, you know what? You know what I find best, Mikey, is just a fan. Even out here, we don't have we don't have full cycle air conditioning. We have what's called evaporative aircon in my house. So it just uses water and it's a very sticky sort of um, heat. So, and if it's really hot and really humid, it is awful. But I find if I get a fan just touching me, so if I can feel the breeze just hitting my foot or my leg or whatever, I'm sweet. So I'll go to bed, even though it's like 40 degrees outside, maybe it might be 30 or 25 degrees at night. Um, if that's just touching my leg, I'm sweet. I don't need the aircon on as much. So yeah, it's very interesting. And aircon sometimes can get too cold or dry your throat out if you're living in it with it all the time. Um, but I definitely prefer full cycle aircon over evaporative. So if you ever come to Australia, don't get evaporative aircon. Um, because it's a dry heat though. It is a dry heat in Western Australia. Is it a dry heat in the UK? I do remember there being some humid days in the UK because the temperature in the UK doesn't plummet like it does in Australia or in West Australia at least. I remember when on the hot days, it used to be like 20 odd degrees, 28 degrees, whatever, but then at night it'd be like 24 degrees. That 4-degree difference can make it quite humid. It's not a big drop where you feel the instant change in temperature. I'm already missing summer. No, no, you can never miss summer. Bring on the winter, the cold, the jackets. I just love all of that. Last summer was too much. It's muggy. Yeah, muggy. You don't want it that. You need proper aircon. Yeah, absolutely for muggy. It's usually humid. Quite humid in summer. It's usually quite UK is quite humid in summer. It gets muggy. I don't know if I would want to live in Australia. Here, the cost of living is quite high. Um, I would say no, to be honest. I think it's quite high everywhere at the moment. Um, I was always under the assumption when I moved out here that everything in the UK was cheap. In the UK was cheaper. Until I went back there, fuel was like double the price of what we pay in Australia in the UK. Um, Cost of living might be slightly higher, but I think we get paid a little bit better than the UK for your general sort of jobs. Um, and like other things have got to come into consideration. Like our healthcare system is really good, and people will bag it as you'd expect. But our healthcare system over here is way better than the NHS in the UK, for example. Way better. I can see a GP tomorrow, and that GP might say to me, "You need to go to a hospital." and I'll go straight to, like, we need to book you into the hospital. I could potentially go and get a hospital appointment for an operation like in a couple of days' time, if it's urgent, obviously. The wait lists can be quite long for non-urgent stuff, as you'd expect, because it's free. But yeah, you got to weigh that sort of stuff up with Australia, because we do get very fortunate with some things. If you could ask any manufacturer to make you a line of figures, what would you ask for? That is a bloody good question, Mark. A line of figures. I think everything's been covered. Um, on the 20 mil front, I'd love to see some Gurkhas from specifically AB figures. Um, I think that would be amazing. God, that is a good question. I'm gonna have to think on that and maybe get back to you next Sunday. Before you go, Chain of Command 2 pre-order tomorrow in the UK. Yes, Mikey. And also, not sure if you saw, if you keep up with the channel, but they have got some photos of mine in the book. So keep an eye out for that one. Specifically, if you watch Storm of Seal's channel, he did a video on it recently, and there was a photo of one of my models on the page. So yes, keep an eye out for those ones. I'm pretty sure mine might be the only ones in there that are 20 mil figures, and he might be using a couple of 28 mil figures. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't seen all of the figures he's used. But yeah, I'll definitely be getting Chain of Command 2. Even though I've never played it, I'll definitely get it. My mate was talking about this yesterday, actually. Fuel has sort of dipped. Water is ridiculous now. Yeah, water in Australia is expensive. Very, very expensive. But we're a dry country for the most part, especially in Western Australia. So you sort of got to take that into consideration. But like our electricity bills are expensive, but we get solar, obviously, being especially in West Australia, we get sun pretty much all year round. So if you've got solar panels and good solar panels, you're normally pretty good. I'm wearing all my hunting and fishing gear from New Zealand tonight as it's cooled down so much. See, I'm still sweating my ass off, Michael. Oh, sorry. Jeremy says, same as healthcare here in Canada with healthcare. Okay, that's interesting. We tried to move to Canada, my wife and I, and we had to renew our English tests, believe it or not. And we got kicked out of the pool and we gave up on it. The wife and I are considering moving out of the US. It's one of those things. I always find that sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side. I think my parents made the right move by moving out of Leicester to Australia. I know they did. Opportunity for me and my sisters was much better than it would have been in Leicester. But it's not always the case. And depending on where you live in the US and that, I don't know. But we are very, very fortunate and we're pretty well looked after here in Australia. A proper couple. I'm off now. I'm off, mate. Take care. Good night. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciated the chat, and have a lovely weekend. Well, rest of your weekend. Mikey, that's awesome. I'll look out for them in the book. Yeah, definitely. Please do. I'm happy to point them out, but you should see them in the videos that I've done anyway. Eureka do 50mm Gurkhas, though I don't know how good they are. Yeah, the 50mm Gurkhas from them aren't as great as like the Battlefront medals, and they're not 20mm. I want 20mm Gurkhas, 20mm Gurkhas, and some like indigenous tribesmen for Burma in World War II and stuff would be awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to end it here. This is way, way over what I was anticipating to do, but we've had a really good chat, and you guys have been awesome. I think we've been going for 83 minutes, it says. So yeah, it's a long old time. So I'm going to end it here. My phone's probably going to die anyway. Really appreciate everyone joining in. Thanks, Mikey, again for joining as a Patreon as well. I do appreciate that. I'm talking World War II Gurkhas, by the way, Jamie, not the Gurkhas in their war of independence, not independence, their defense against the British. Yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely have a gander on your Blue Ski, Mikey, and thanks everyone else for joining. I really do appreciate it, guys. I'll be here next Sunday for a chat. I'm on late start Sunday, so maybe we'll go a little bit longer, an hour and a half or 2 hours. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, I could talk for ages. But I really appreciate it, guys. Sorry, I'm actually going to go now. I'll stop procrastinating and we'll get this done and dusted. All right, guys. Cheers. Bye.